Hello, 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 you all. You is with your girl, Soraya Parker Pill, on my podcast, Turning the Page. As you know, I'm always bringing you some hot topics and bringing you the hottest guest stars on earth every single week, starting at 12 o'clock on every Friday. So, the person that I have on this podcast today, her name is Bianca. She is a great person to be connected with. The reason why I said that, because I am the connect of all nations. And the person that connected me to this one star right here was named Nikita. Nikita, she's a great connector as well. She was on my podcast last week. And if you did not hear, please listen to that podcast. I'm always going to bring you things that you should know. If you don't know, you will get to know today. So, Bianca, how are you doing today?
I am amazing now that I've, got that amazing introduction.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Let me say something. So today, the name of our podcast is called The Power of Being Uncomfortable. Now, I think this is something so great to be able to nail and talk about, because a lot of people don't understand being uncomfortable can have you on a trail of being more successful than you ever been,
Yeah,
because you're doing something different, and the thing is, we're so scared of being uncomfortable, but that could be our life-changing gift that we need from God to bless us with more than we ever had.
exactly.
So I'm just telling you, I'm so happy that you took your time out today to be able to get on this podcast and to be able to come up with that name, being the power of being uncomfortable, because it does come with power behind that. You have to not just have power, but have some kind of control over
Mhm,
how you feel when you're uncomfortable. So,
mhm.
what I would like our listeners to know a little bit about you, not just your name, but also tell us what your brand is and what your brand can offer us by getting connected to you.
Yes, thank you. Like you said, the power of being uncomfortable, it can take you to so many levels in life, and it's the mission behind my business. So I have a nonprofit organization where I travel with high school students of color. Um, my purpose is to simply just expose our youth to life outside of that comfort zone. And it started with myself. Originally born and raised in Baltimore, Maryland, got a chance to move to Southern California when I was 19. And, that really stripped me from my comfort zone completely. I was ready for it. But at the time, my mom wasn't. It was way out of her comfort zone. She's like, "You're not moving 3,000 miles away, and you barely have any money, and all of this stuff." So it was completely out of her comfort zone. But she didn't know that it was needed. Um,
Hmm.
I got out to California. I lived out there for about 7 years. I've been traveling the world ever since. My first trips on my own overseas was to Australia, and I lived in Australia for 30 days, lived out of a backpack, so it was it was like completely out of my comfort zone. And it changed me in so many ways that when I got back home, all I could think about um, was how can I build something where I can show kids growing up the same way that I grew up, that it's a world out there. And you have to go see it. You have to go touch it, smell it, taste it, and everything in between. Um, in order for you to really reach your full potential in life, in order for you to really tap into your purpose and understand that, you know, you have what's around you, but you're going to outgrow that, you know, and let me go find the resources and the people that I need to connect with, so I can be ready to outgrow what I have around me now. So, um, again, anyone who wants to contact me, learningtolivemovement.com, please check us out. We've been traveling since 2015 with high school students. We have a lot of good things coming up. Since COVID, we weren't able to travel, of course. I was scared. That was definitely out of my comfort zone to travel with kids. But we were able to create a passport program for our students, since we could, you know, trying to navigate through COVID, and that passport program has been taken off like crazy. So like this year, we're supplying 30 passports for students going to Europe next year. But
Okay.
I, I just, you know, I live for it every day to show my students you gotta live outside of your comfort zone. You gotta go outside of your comfort zone. I know it's scary. Um, and you know, I have to remind myself every day to, okay, wait a minute. Are you not doing something because you're comfortable, or are you not doing it because it's just not for you? Like, what is it? Um, because we hold ourselves back from so many opportunities, so many relationships. We just hold ourselves back from living in our purpose and experiencing all the power that's inside of us, because we're so, you know, we're comfortable. We're like, no, I want to stay right here. I want to stay right here. I got to stay right here. And I love what on your introduction, what it says about it's time to turn a new page to that next chapter. And you know, that goes into, it's now time to turn a new page. It's time to get out of that comfort zone. It's time. So
You're
I
so right.
try to remind myself and remind those around me, it's time. Just turn a page. Trust me, that story is going to be beautiful. Just turn a page. Even if it gets a little rough and rocky, it's going to be beautiful. You're going to come out on top, you know, as long as you know, pray about it. Keep your head up, stay motivated, surround yourself around the right people. You are going to be okay.
I totally agree because just a little bit about how uncomfortable it was for me to live the life that I'm living now. You know, not knowing anything but the bad. You know, I was so good at it. So I didn't want to learn something that I knew nothing about. And that was actually being a good person, having integrity, being an honest person, surrounding yourself around those people that you're talking about, that you should be around because they can help you through it all to
Mm-hmm.
become the person that you need to be. You know, and not just need to be, we all dream to be very successful people and to be people of, you know, what's the right word I want to say? Of honor. You know,
Yeah,
you want to be that person that people want to come to
yeah.
when they want to not be in that depressed stage, or when they do have like some kind of I'm losing words today, but when they
I
had actually been through it themselves, the experiments,
yes,
you know, you
yes.
want to go to someone that experiment what you went through or worse than what you went through to help you through and get to the point that you need to be in life. Because
Yeah.
if you're not able to go to that person and to say, what did you do to get out that phone? What did you do to like get off of
Mm-hmm.
drugs and things like that? It's kind of hard to do it on your own. And a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people say, well, I'm not getting a counselor. I had to get those things. I had to get a counselor. I had to get a therapist. I had to get a strength. I had to get a psych doctor. I had to get all those things to get where I'm at today. And it was very uncomfortable, but was it worth it? It was well worth it.
Well worth it.
It
Well
was
worth it.
well worth it because
And
I could not imagine where I'm at today without being uncomfortable and changing my life into something I knew nothing about.
that all of that. And you know, you mentioned something too that I want a lot of people to understand, when it comes to people. You know, as soon as you use that word people, it hit a spot. So my husband, he has this thing, and it helps a lot. He has this thing. He says, you know, people are just people, And sometimes we got to look at people and realize that we're all still kindergartners, no matter how
Mm-hmm.
no matter how old we are, no matter how successful we are, no matter, what fancy cars we got, what education we have, all of that good stuff, we're all still kindergartners. And so I'm not going to go too deep into how he breaks it down, but it really helps. And when we talk about like just being scared to step out there, I know
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times with myself and people that I know, especially when it comes to, being an entrepreneur and putting yourself out there, a lot of times we're afraid of people because we're afraid of how people are going to look at us, how people are going to receive us, how people are going to judge us. Like we're so afraid of people. And it's like, so I want people to understand, if that's your thing, if that's your thing that's holding you back from stepping out of your comfort zone, just tell yourself they're all kindergartners. They're the same kindergartners that you played with on the playground. They're just people. Go talk to them, because just like I had to start stepping out of my comfort zone and going to go talk to people and just put myself out there. Now I tried this business network and just put myself out there and talking to people and put my fear aside of what they thought of me or how they might have thought I didn't have much experience or whatever the case may be. And look at me now. Nikita has connected me with so many amazing people. And after, I want to say, a few months of, trying to manifest, just getting on the right platforms, here she is sending me an email, connecting me to you. And that's all.
Mm-hmm.
I just had to drop that fear of, you know what? I'm forget it. I'm stepping out of my comfort zone. I'm going to go put myself out there and I'm going to go meet some people because we're all just kindergartners.
Yeah, and you're so correct. And it's funny because, she is an amazing person. Like, she really connects us Black entrepreneurs that have the smallest business, and she will have us having our business just go all over the place.
Yeah.
And we was like, oh, we didn't know we wanted to do it this fast.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we knew we wanted to do it. So we are put in uncomfortable positions that we ask for, that we want. And then once we're put there, we're like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? But it takes us to be uncomfortable and know the power of being uncomfortable and where it can take you.
Yeah.
And it is power behind all of that. It's power of being uncomfortable because you're doing things you never imagined you would do. You're doing things that you never, I mean, you're seeing things you never imagined you could see. You're going all around the world. Like, you're taking your place. And instead of being in place, you're going all over the world with the places that you wanted to see and
Yeah.
be into.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing feeling once you actually get to the end of all of that, of being uncomfortable, being fearful. You are your own brand. You're the only one that's going to put yourself out there as much as you want it out there, other than a computer doing something that have no clue of how passionate you are about yourself
Yeah.
and what you can do for people.
Yeah.
So you are your own brand. You are the person that's going to have you go as far as you want to go. And it's going to take you to be uncomfortable. It's going to take you to do things that you have never done before. It's going to take you to have to overcome some things that you thought that you could never overcome. But how would you know this? Or how do you know what power comes behind that if you don't put yourself in it? If you don't do it, if you don't try it?
Get out.
Every failed attempt is really a great successful thing to do, because you can't fail at something you've never tried before. So if you failed that, at least you're not going to do it that way again, and you have tried it, but you know what steps you need to take the next time because you have failed at that.
Yep.
But it's successful things that come from failure. If you never failed at anything, did you ever really do anything? Ask yourself that.
What story do you have to tell if you do? And that's my thing. If you're staying in your comfort zone, you're limiting yourself. You're putting yourself in a box. So now as you grow older, what stories do you have to tell but the only ones that happen in that same box? You gotta step out of that comfort zone. So now you have a story to tell. So whether you fail or not, and you really don't fail because you learn something new. You learn something now you can apply to what you're doing, or now you could teach it to somebody else. Like, hey, I love teaching people, about things that I failed on. Like, listen, this is how I did it, and it did not work out. Now you can try it But you know what I mean? But it's like, what story do you have to tell if you don't step out of your comfort zone? It ain't nothing, it's nothing fun there. I mean, it might feel good for the moment. And that's what I teach my students as well. Your comfort zone, it might feel good for the moment, but after a while, trust me, it's gonna feel bad.
Yeah, you're so right. So what's the age ranges that you love teaching people
So
with your brand?
my students are high school, so we work with mainly high school students. I do partner with other organizations in Baltimore that
Mm-hmm.
work with younger students, and we'll do things together. But my target audience are high school students, and then when they graduate from high school, they are now the mentors for the younger students. So I still work with them. Like right now, one of my older students, I want to say, is 25.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, 25. Yeah, like 25. But we start with them when they're in high school.
I think that's awesome because people don't realize their life really don't start until you're graduated from high school. That's
Yeah.
how you know if you're going to college, if you're going to have a career, like what benefits did high school teach you if you was involved in high school, because you have to be involved to know what
What's
road you want to take when you get
Yeah.
out of high school.
And
And
that's
I
what
think that is amazing because most people don't know how important it is to be able to mentor people before they actually hit the real world.
Yeah, and
Because this world that we're living in now is not the world we was living in back in the days in the 80s.
gosh, oh gosh, and listen, that's why we focus on high school, because that's when things are getting real. That's when they're starting to ask way more questions. Things are hitting them different. Now they got to make bigger decisions. Or am I going to go to college? Am I going to get a job? And I'm going to do this. So it's like before, we have so many adults that need exposure like this. And my thing is, I want to reach these students before they really become adults. So therefore,
Hmm.
they're not easily, it's not easy for them to stay in their comfort zone. If we get them now while they're in high school, by the time they become adults, they're already ready to step out there. They're ready. They're ready to go see what's going on. They didn't already travel. They know it's something out there. And I feel like it's our way of slowly changing the world, one kid at a time. Just
That
sending
is
them
amazing.
with more resources, more opportunities, understanding of how to be a global citizen. So it's simple. It's simple. We got to get them while it's early, before they start making hardcore decisions.
That is awesome. So what made you get into this?
Just traveling the world, spent some time in Australia. That changed me. I remember I was in Australia and something was going on at home, in Baltimore, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need, at this time, I had like a flip phone at the time or whatever. So I didn't have my phone service. And the only time I had Wi-Fi is if I went to like a library or Starbucks, something like that. So I'm telling my friend, oh my gosh, I need to, go get Wi-Fi, because my mom is like arguing with my brother and this is going on. And he's like, are you going to get on an airplane right now and go back to Baltimore and solve that problem? I was like, no, what's wrong with you? He's like, well, what's wrong with you? He's like, stop worrying about, certain things that you can't control. Leave that drama in Baltimore. He said, because that's what it sounds like. It sounds like it's just drama. And I'm like, you are so right. And I've been so used to it my entire life. And here I am
Mm-hmm.
on the other side of the world. It's nothing I can do about it. Why am I worried about things that I can't control? And so
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
situations that happened to me in Australia that really just hit me, and then just living on the West Coast period, it was a total game changer, So it was my experiences that I just was like, I have to figure out a way to provide these type of experiences for high school students growing up the way that I grew up. Like they have to start seeing the world now before it's too late.
That is awesome. And that is like so selfless of you. And we need more people like you because we have so many, and there's nothing wrong with being selfish. I just learned that not too long ago because I'm like a very selfless person. I will put anyone in front of me. But
Mhm.
then at the end of the day, I'm the one that's like losing sleep, not eating, and crying, and just behind my closed doors that people don't realize that I do hurt too.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
will lay their problems in your lap and leave them there. And
Yeah.
it was like, well, you know what? We know Soraya going to run to our aid, and so we'll just have her deal with it while we sitting here eating, getting sleep, and just doing our day to day living. And because we told the right person. But then I had to remember, and I go to like all kinds of mentor sites and things like that because I always want to fill myself with greatness since I want to be the greatest person to be connected with.
Hmm.
And I found out selfish is not bad. It's just how you use it. So I have to start being selfish with my heart sometimes because I would give someone everything I had with my heart and not my hand. And then I'm all of a sudden feeling heartless to myself because I'm not treating myself good because I'm not eating correctly or I'm
Exactly.
not sleeping for days or things like that. So I had to start being selfish with myself. Like Soraya, stop giving all your heart to someone that don't even care about it. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, they're going to take what you give them, but you have to also pray and be mindful to be protected over the ones that's going to take your heart and crush it
It's
because you gave it to them.
it's
You
balance.
gave it to them. So I had to also start putting boundaries around how much love I'm going to give a person, because I will put myself in a situation to be the only one hurt at the end.
Hmm.
So it is so selfless of you to think, to even start a brand and to be able to help these other kids that you don't even know and you did not push out your womb to be able to help them get to the right steps when they come out of school.
Yeah.
You are an amazing person, and I just wanted to let you know that because if we had more people like you or people that's not so heartless and just care and try to help another,
Yeah.
from making the same mistakes that we had made, then this world would be such a better place.
And listen, speaking of people like me, I have to say this journey has not been easy. I've had to work multiple jobs to help fund the business. I've had to, you know how I go, long nights,
Hmm.
and stuff. But I can say that my team in Baltimore have they had my back. They taught me so much. I have a great support system, and I have some amazing partners that are doing amazing things on the ground in Baltimore, just providing our students with the resources and the support and the that they need because a lot of times it's love that's lacking in our communities. And
Hmm.
my partners do a really good job at making sure that our students have that love, they have someone they can call on, and all of that good stuff. And so we do it as a team. So I'm out here doing it, but I wouldn't be able to get the job done without the people that I'm connected to. Just like I'm excited to say Saturday we have, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Earn Your Leisure podcast, but they'll be in town on Saturday for a Wealth Summit. And we have about 20 students that we're taking to this event. And my partners were able to help me gather all the right students to really get them in and get them learning some financial literacy. You know what I mean? Get them started preparing them for the future because they want to start making money. They got to know how to manage it, what to do with it, and set themselves up for success, and pick up the slack of where a lot of our parents, didn't know or didn't do. So I'm excited about that. But like I said, if it wasn't for my partners and my team on the ground in Baltimore, I would not be able to be where I am today and do what I do for these students.
That is awesome. And congratulations to you and your team because a lot of times people feel like that they doing things alone, but it takes us to have a great team and support for us to be who we are today.
Yeah, yeah,
So
exactly.
congratulations to that. So is there anything that you want to let your listeners know? before we end the podcast today. You can they clearly see your IG, your Facebook, and everything, email, all of that at the bottom of the screen, scrolling. But if you want to just go ahead and say it out loud, you can just let them know who you are again. What's your Facebook, your IG, your email address, the name of
Yeah.
your brand, and the quickest way to get in contact with you.
Yes. Again, Learning to Live Movement is the brand. Follow us. Just stay up to date. I would say go on the website and sign up to receive our newsletters. Um, we do we do amazing things with our students, but we can only continue to do amazing things with your support. So if you want to give back, a lot of people, they're like, I'm making so much money, or I'm doing this, I have more time on my hands, I want to just give back to the community. Please, 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 please keep us on your list, because we always need hands on deck. We always need donations. We always need love and support. Um, like I said, follow me on Instagram. You'll see what type of events I'm throwing. I do a lot of events, and our theme is party with a purpose. So if you like to party, two-step a little bit, you sure can. And your partying will be for a purpose, because it will be a fundraiser. It supports the nonprofit, it supports the mission. So I would just say, just follow us, to just stay up to date with all great things happening with our students in Baltimore. And just remember, step outside of that comfort zone. Comfort zone is not a good place to be. Not a good place to be.
That is amazing. Well, this was such a great show. It really just had, pinpointed on some things of the power that comes behind being uncomfortable. You told your story of how you actually was uncomfortable, and now you're here today doing amazing, amazing things. And of course, I have been uncomfortable, but if you ever, ever, ever are looking for answers to anything like that, just know that this podcast will probably have the answer for you in the time of need. And maybe you didn't even know you needed the answer to something until you heard our show today.
Yeah.
So please, please, please hit like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe, because the more you support us, the more we can do support for others. Um, Everyone needs some help. I needed help at one point, so that's why we have this show today, to help others get from one place to another. So also don't forget to grab my books. The second book that I was a co-author of was #1 in the nation, and international in 6 categories. So please grab the second book, grab the first book that I wrote. Really, really awesome book. I'm actually working on my third and fourth books. So if you have not grabbed the books yet, please, please, please reach out to me. And you might can even be a winner of a book and don't have to pay a cent. But just know, anytime you buy a book from me, it's to help a homeless person on the streets, or just help another that's in need. I'm never doing anything for no reason at all. I do want to be the connector of our nation. I want to continue standing to be the connection of our nation, and I want to help the nation. Bianca, you were such a great co-star today. I mean, you did the daggone thing, and you have so much to offer people. So please pick her up. Pick her up by helping her, supporting her, so she can continue helping our young to be more better than what they are today, because our young is taking over the world, killing, having guns in their hands and things like that. But it take people like Bianca that would change their whole life just by the support that you give us. So please, please, please reach out to her. She gave you different ways of reaching out to her. If you did not get that, just look at the bottom of the screen now, and you will see some ways of getting in contact with her. And just know that Soraya is always here for you and with you. Thank you so much for being a part of this podcast today. We love y'all.